I said, we are going to look at the commutative and associative properties today. We're also going to look at the properties of equality. So we started to go over example number 4. Correct answer was 160 because you plugged in 5 for B, and 5 cubed is 125. And then you plugged in A, which is 4, plugged in C, which was 10, and subtracted B, which is 5. So you had 125 plus 40, which is 165. Take 5 away, and you get 160. Okay, example number 5 is a parallelogram. The area of a parallelogram should have been letter D. Guys, they're up on the board because I want to make sure we get through everything because we're running low. And then number 6, you got B, 68. So you should have done your parentheses, then your division, then your multiplication, and finally your addition. Okay, the commutative property. The commutative property says the order. No, I didn't. Okay. The order in which you add or multiply does not change. So order, if you have A plus B, then that equals B plus A. If you have A times B, that equals B times A. Good? The associative, this is grouping. Associative is grouping. So think about if you associate with your friends. That puts you in a group of friends. Associative is grouping. So you're filling in those blanks the way you group 3 or more numbers. A plus B plus C is equal to A plus B plus C, but the parentheses change. And the multiplication example, the letters inside the parentheses change. And same with the example with 3 plus 5 plus 7 equals 3 plus 5 plus 7, where 3 and 5 are grouped together, and then 5 and 7 are grouped together. Okay, let's look at some examples on the back. You have horseback riding. I don't know. Magina made a list of trail lengths to find the total miles she rode her horse. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 trails. So we have 4 different sets of miles. So what we're going to do first is the commutative property. We're going to group them so that you can put the 2.5 and the 0.75 together, because that will make a whole. And then we're going to group it so the 0.5 and 9 are together. So the first thing we're going to do is rearrange the order of the terms, which is the commutative property. Then we're going to group them. That's the associative property. When we add them to get numbers, that's substitution. And when you add to get your final numbers, once again, substitution. So our answer is that she rode 27.5 miles on the trails. Okay, next, Darlene rode the city train from the Winchester station to the airport. How far did she travel on the train? So in order to get that answer, you're going to sum all of the parts. I would group the 1.2 and the 1.8. So when we group them, that's called the associative property. I would group them because they'll get me a nice number. You could group these two as well, also associative. So you get 0.6 plus, well, 1 and 2 is 1.2 and 1.8 gets you 3 because 0.2 and 0.8 is a whole. So you get 1 plus 1 plus 1. So once again, I'd group, which is the associative. So you get 3.6 plus 1.9. When you add those together, that's substitution. Running out of boardroom. And then your final answer is 5.5. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about these last examples. So again, you have the commutative property in that first example, and it's with multiplication, because what happened is from here to here, we changed the order. Then we grouped them, so that's associative. You got number answers for what's inside, so that's substitution. And then you multiplied, and that's substitution as well. So from the example to start to the next example, we added grouping. So that's associative. Okay, kiddos, you need to do the very next page, 1 through 6. For Wednesday, it needs uploaded. So you need to do 1 through 6 for Wednesday.